So this guy, I don't know what kind of plant it is, if I'm being honest. It kind of gives me pothos vibes, but I'm not certain that it's a pothos. But this is a plant that I've had for a couple years now, and I think it is past due for a upgrade in pot size. So he is absolutely thriving. Pretty low maintenance plant. I put him in the window, I water him. I've done nothing else really. I'm not sure if I've propagated this one before, but I do think it's time for a soil change, and then I'm gonna go up in pot size. So I figure we could kind of clean them up together and do that in this video. Now, what I'm gonna start out by doing, get my little baby like that, is just get him out of this pot and see what we're dealing with here. And he doesn't want to leave his pot. So what I like to do is come in and get as much of the loose soil off as possible. I'm not really trying to disturb the roots too much. And you can see he was getting a little bit root bound, not too crazy. I probably could have left him in this pot a little bit longer and it wouldn't have been an issue. And if you know what plant this is, let me know in the descriptions down below and I'll update the title. I was trying to figure out what it was, but I just can't be sure. It kind of gives me like a pearl jade pothos vibe, but looking at the leaves, I'm just not certain that that's what it is. And when I'm changing out the dirt, I don't like to disrupt stuff too much. So I'll loosen these bottom roots a little bit. But I'm doing it without really ripping them or harming them. I don't want this plant to go in shock. I just want, when I put it in the new pot, for him to spread his roots out, go into the new dirt and really thrive. So that's why I loosen it up a little bit, and then just get some of this old dirt out and we will put new dirt in there. So I think I've done about all of the dirt getting out that I'm going to. For my little guy here. Oh, I lied. I have a little bit up top that is relatively loose, and I think I can, oh, these little babies come out. Okay. Set those right there. And that's what I don't want, is to disrupt them too much in here. Oh, this is kind of cool. He's just propagating himself. Okay, so what I'll do now, set him there and get rid of all of this old dirt. And I'll just put it back in his old pot. So I'm kind of putting him in a little bit of a bigger pot than I should. So typically you want to go up like one pot size. This is probably a couple pot sizes. But I really want to get him into a different pot. So I'm going to go ahead and move him in here today. I think it's a little bit too big for him. But like I said, he's been so low maintenance, this little guy, so I don't think he's gonna mind it, and I think he can really grow into this pot, because I'm not always the best at remembering to pot my plants and do all of that stuff, so I think moving him in here will be a good move. Now, I have my own soil mixture that I make, so I'm just gonna start out by putting a good amount in the bottom. Of this, and then what I do is I just grab the plant for sizing and I'll pop him in there to kind of see how he's gonna lay. And I think that is actually a pretty good depth. Now, while I'm in here, I see some dead leaves and stuff like that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pull all of that off, or as much of it as I can get to. And then I'm gonna come in and fill in, as you can see, around the sides here, just with all of the dirt to fill up the pot. Now, I never press down on the dirt. I'll show you what I do to get it nice and packed in here. And you just kind of lift them up as you need to and put dirt in all of the little cracks there. And I am making a very big mess. I should have probably got like a scoop or something. Okay, so I think I pretty much have the edges filled in. So I come in and I slap the pot. And that's just to encourage the dirt to fill in all the little gaps. And I'm gonna put just a little bit more dirt in here. I do have some spots over on this side. And what I'm doing now is the spots where it's a little bit too low, I'm just kind of pushing the dirt in there. You never want to go in and like pack it down or compress it in there. That's not what your plants need. They like the loosely packed soil. And then, like I said, just to get it in there a little bit better and to kind of get it to fill in the gaps, you just slap it. Okay, so since when you transplant a plant, it can be a little bit rough on them, what you want to do is you're going to give this a really good watering, like you are going to give it a good soaking. So what I'm going to actually do is give him a really good watering before I hang him back up. Now I had his little baby guys that had come off, and let me decide what I'm going to do with them. So this one has a root, and I'm debating if I think he's going to make it in here or if I'm better off to put him in a water propagation. Now this one, I don't know if that one's going to make it. I think this one might be a goner. I might toss this one in some water just to see what happens. I'll give it a little snip right here and then pop it in some water, see if I can get some roots on it. But this one, I think I'm going to pop it just right in the soil and see if it'll take, because it does have just a little bit of roots there, and it seemed to be rooting itself already when I popped him out. So let's just see if we can get him to take root in there. So back to what I was saying. When I transplant a plant, change the pot in a plant, I don't know how you word it. When I switch out the pots for a plant, what I'd like to do is I like to give them a really good watering, so then the roots can kind of go into the dirt. The soil's nice and moist. The soil that I'm using, if you can see here, is super, super dry, so we want to go ahead and get that hydrated. Now, this white bucket, foot soaker, I don't know, is my go-to plant bucket. So what I used to do with plants is I would put them in my shower and I would bottom water them. Well, I went ahead and put on glass shower doors, and now it's such a pain to get them into the shower that I started using this little bucket, and I've kind of fallen in love with it. So I use this bucket for most of my planting things. And like I said, we're going to give him a really, really good watering, allow the soil to get nice and moist. Now, for the next couple waterings, I'm not going to bottom water him because I know that his roots don't reach the bottom of the plant. Of the pot. So I put him in quite of a bigger one. I don't think it's going to take him long at all to grow into it. He was starting to get a little bit root bound, and I think he's going to take to this one nicely. Now the soil that I use is my own soil mix that I make. If you have any interest in that, or if you want to see how I make it, let me know and I can make a video on that. I just like to make my own soil. I like stuff to be well draining, because one of the issues that we can have is root rot and also gnats, which are my nemesis. So I found that switching to a soil that drains really well seems to be helpful for that. And like I said, I am giving him a lot of water. It is already starting to come out the bottom, so he's going to drain any excess water that he doesn't need. I just want to make sure that he gets a really good watering, and then I'll go ahead and hang him back up. And again, if you know the name of this plant, go ahead and tell me down in the comments below. I got him I'm pretty sure I got him from Meyer, and I don't think it had the name on it on what it was. It was like assorted greenery or something like that. And he really gives me pothos vibes, but just something about his leaves don't feel like it's a pothos, but it's not a philodendron. I can tell that from looking at the leaves. So yeah, if you know what it is, let me know. Thanks. Oh, and I hope you enjoyed the video.